What's going on, guys? Welcome to another opposition preview. This week, I'm joined by Nick from the Sheffield Utd Way to look ahead to our game on Saturday. Nick, thank you for joining me. You won't believe me, but this is a game where most Palace fans have feared the most in recent times because we are a team of just giving gifts. It doesn't matter if it's Christmas or not. If you're struggling, come and face Palace and we'll give you gifts. If you're a striker who's out of form, you will score against us. That is Palace. So, Nick, surely there must be a bit of optimism going into this game, hearing what I've just said.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Well, I've been optimistic all season up until kind of like the last couple of games. And I think we've been hindered a little bit in the fact that all the teams that are kind of around us, and we feel like, because I would feel normally that Palace could be a game that we could get something out of. It's obviously not. It's not a Chelsea. It's not a Man United, Man City, whatever. But I feel like we've had all the teams that we could possibly be away from home. And I know it's not the same without the fans, but it's still, you're on your own patch. You feel more comfortable at home, don't you?
Yeah. But this is, okay, let's just get right into it. Every team will, it's normal to struggle after playing so well last season. But what I don't understand is what caused this sudden decline? What went so wrong so quickly for you guys to be going into the new year with just only 2 points from 16 games? Surely, as a Sheffield United fan, you didn't see this coming as well.
No, I didn't. No, not at all. I knew that we would, not be as good as we were last season. I knew that for a fact. The main reason why we have struggled so much, and this is going to sound so stupid because one player doesn't make a team, but the way that we play football with the overlapping centre-backs, the wide overloads, we've lost Jack O'Connell, who was our left-sided centre-back, who has been playing that role for 4 years now. No, 4 years, I think it is. He knows exactly what he's doing, but nobody can emulate what Jack O'Connell does. We've tried so many different players in that position, and it's not worked out. And the problem that we've got is that because we've recruited for that exact system, when that exact system breaks down and it isn't working, then you struggle because we're no longer using both flanks to get both centre-backs up. We are only using the right-hand side, and it's so much easier defending against kind of that because we don't play through the middle, we play down the wings. And when we're not using one wing, it's just that right-hand side. And all you have to do is kind of mark those players out of the game, and you've completely stopped what we're doing. Now, I know that the fans not being there is a massive problem for us because looking on paper, we haven't got the best of teams. And the fans definitely add that 12th man. And not having the fans, like I think at some points this season, players have been getting a bit of grief on Twitter, which you probably expect. But I think it would be the other way around if we were at the ground, because a goalkeeper makes a mistake. Instead, you wouldn't give him stick. You'd be like, come on. And you'd give him that bit of confidence. On Twitter, it's different, isn't it? Because you're not directly kind of chanting for him or talking to him. You are just putting something onto the internet, and it's always going to be negative if someone's made a mistake. But when you're at the ground, I don't know what it is. It's just something about it. You just want to give them that encouragement to go and do better. So there's a lot more to it than that. But I think Jack O'Connell is the main problem, and the fact that we've not recruited for possibly a change of formations.
Yeah. So interesting that you mentioned O'Connell, because with Zaha, it's like a similar thing. But without Zaha playing in this Palace side, we do struggle. Even though as of late we did start to get a couple of wins without him in the side, but overall we do struggle massively without him. So when you're looking at your results, you're not getting beaten 4 or 5-0. It's always 1-0, maybe 2-1, even 3-2. So what is it? Is it like a mentality thing that you just can't go and score? It's 8 goals in 16 games. Now, as a Palace fan, everyone who's watching this will know that at times I get annoyed watching this side play because it is so boring. But sure, like I didn't know it was that bad down there. Or is it just, surely it can't just be O'Connell being result of just scoring 8 goals in 16. You got other players as well.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think it doesn't help that probably one of our best players over the past 4 years, and certainly last season, John Fleck, as his form's just fallen off a cliff. Now he's had some injury problems. We've also had an injury to £22 million man Sander Berger. He's not there anymore. Fleck's not playing as well as what he was. Lundstrom's had this contract dispute. He was great at the start of last season, and everyone loved him because of the whole fantasy football thing, him being a defender and scoring goals from midfield. But Lundstrom's had this kind of contract dispute. He said he wants to leave. We're kind of running out his contract at the moment because it looks like nobody wants him. The problem that he has is that he played great at the start of last season, and then we brought in Sander Berger, and I think his nose got put a little bit out of joint, and he's kind of been like, "Oh, stuff you, then I'll move on." But if you're not playing well, no one's going to come in for you. And Chris Wilder's given him that because we've been struggling with the midfield and players getting injured. He's given him that platform to kind of show what he can do. And he's just doing stupid things. He got a 3-match ban the other day for a stupid challenge that he didn't need to put in. And it just feels like he's doing it for himself. He's trying to kind of, like, he had a free kick from inside his own box and tried to lob the goalkeeper. It's things like that we could have used that to push ourselves up the pitch, and he's doing it all for himself. So we're really struggling in the midfield to actually create the chances. I think we've got a load of misfiring strikers, but at the same time, I think a lot of these strikers, if they got that one goal, it would propel them on. But talking about kind of how we keep losing 1-0s and stuff like that, obviously we've got no confidence going forward, but we're not defending terribly. We are just making that one mistake and then being punished. That's the Premier League for you. And it probably doesn't help the fact that we've not won in so many games. Nobody wants to be that team that loses to us. And I think if we get that win, we could go on a little bit of a run, but we're leaving it way too late. Like I've still got a bit of confidence in him that we will come good at some point, but I feel like it will be too late now. Obviously, look, we're on 2 points. We're 6 points off second bottom. I don't know how many points we're off third bottom or fourth bottom. So I'm already ready for the championship, and let's go again.
Don't worry, it is coming. I'm telling you, Nick, it is coming. You will get this win. Look, it hurts, but that's my expectations going into this game. We just Palace, as you said. Who's struggling? Name it, and then boom, you will score goals. Whoever it is, if it's Brewster, if you're not getting results, you will get them. But let's talk about Chris Wilder. Loyalty is a rare thing in football nowadays, but Sheffield United, despite playing so badly this season in terms of getting results, they've stuck by him. But I've seen a couple Sheffield United fans who have said maybe it's time for him to leave now. It's just getting boring. And others have said, let's stick by him. Where do you stand? Do you think, this result against Palace, if you guys don't win then potentially bringing another manager, back him in a January window and then move on, or Chris Wilder all the way?
I'm saying Chris Wilder all the way for now. The thing is, he's taken us from League One to the Premier League, and you might think that that's just me talking, like, kind of being loyalty talking, but it's not, because these players that, like, looking at them years ago, none of these players, I don't think any of them you would have thought would be playing Premier League football right now. So I think if we brought in a new manager who doesn't know the players at all, I can't see them getting more out of these players than Chris Wilder can. We are, like you said, we are close in some games. And like I said, it could turn around. All it needs is a win here, or a good point here, a few goals scored. But if we do go down, which it's looking like we are going to, I think there's no one better to bring us back up than Chris Wilder. And some fans want him gone, but I think the people who know football, who are Sheffield United fans, go week in, week out, know what they're talking about, don't want to see him go, and not just because of loyalty, but because it's probably best for the club. Because the last time we were in the Premier League before this, Neil Warnock was the manager, and we were very, very close to staying up. We definitely should have stayed up. We sacked Neil Warnock when we came down, and then it just went down, 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 and then we ended up in League One. I don't want the same thing to happen to us.
Yeah, well, you're right. That's one point that maybe it goes over my head as well. When you look at some of the players, with all due respect, another manager might not get the best. Right now, Chris Wilder's not, of course, the results ain't showing that, but he did get the best out of them, and from League One to Premier League as well. But is there anyone that you'd pick out? I know it hasn't been the greatest start that Palace should watch out for potentially, that has had a good season somewhat.
When you say watch out, I think normally you kind of focus on attackers, don't you? And for me, up front, there's two players that I would watch out for. Ollie Burke. West Brom fans hated him. I don't know why that was exactly. They didn't really give us much clue on that. They just said that he was had a trampoline foot, and he was terrible on the ball, didn't score any goals. But he is such a threat. He is somebody that no defender in the Premier League will want to play against. He is huge, he is rapid, and the only thing that is missing from his arsenal is scoring them goals. And again, another one, I think if he gets a chance and he scores a goal, he will come a lot better. But he's one of these players. Like last night, we had Mousse and Brewster up front. They couldn't hold the ball up. He's one of these players that can do everything, can hold the ball up. Is also rapid to get in behind. So he's going to be someone for you to watch. Possibly won't score, but he's always kind of on the defender's shoulder, and he doesn't look good to play against. McGoldrick is our guy to kind of pick the ball up off the midfield, be that link between the midfield and the attack. If we do go down the middle, it will be through McGoldrick. Last season, I would have said the wing backs and the overlapping centre backs, but with that not kind of materialising this season, when you say what players to watch out for, maybe not to watch out for, but John Egan's been our rock this season, like he was last season. He's probably one of the only players that's actually doing as well as he was last season. Same with Chris Basham in the defence, but we've really struggled in certain areas. But I definitely think those are the players that have kind of done nearly as well as last season.
You mentioned a name there, Brewster. Of course, he went to you guys instead of us. We were linked with him as well. What have you made of his time at Sheffield United so far?
So far, I would say you've had a bit of a lucky escape. I don't mean to be nasty to him, but up to now, I don't feel like I feel like we are trying to put this in the nicest way possible. He's not ready. He's not ready. I think if we went down to the Championship, he could possibly score 15, 20 goals, come up, and then feel like he's ready. I don't feel like he thinks he's a Premier League footballer. I feel like he still thinks he's that youngster that that kind of he's still paving his way to becoming a footballer. He's now playing for a Premier League club, and he should be starting every week for the amount of money that we paid for him. But the problem is we paid way too much for him because they knew that we needed a striker at that point. I don't think he was the right player at the right time. Possibly last season, because we were doing so well, taking a chance on someone. I think last season, or kind of if we didn't have such a bad start to the season, we'd have probably got him for 15, 18 million. But the fact that we paid something like 25 million for him is just, it's a joke, really, because it's just because we've had a bad start. That's why they saw an opportunity, Liverpool, and thought, we can get more money out of him here.
Yeah. So looking at the Burnley game, the game that you just played, it seemed like after they scored the goal, they just sat back and then you couldn't break them down. So when you're talking about tactics in this game, that's what we're going to do, regardless of us scoring. We're just going to sit back. So is that the right approach, do you think, for Palace to go ahead with this game?
Mate, you can do whatever you want, you'll win the game. How I see it is, Burnley played a perfect game last night, but if they'd have carried on to try and score more goals, I feel like they would have scored more goals. I'm very surprised Burnley are down there, because they've got an excellent defence. They've got two very, very good strikers that can... Like I was saying to a few people the other day that Burnley are a team that, looking at Chris Wood and Ashley Barnes, they could score 15 goals each in a season. They are that good. Maybe they've not had a great start to the season, but Burnley won't be down there at the end of the season. No chance. They're too good for that. And last night, I felt that if they'd have come on to us more, they probably could have got more goals. But the fact that they sat back was perfect, really, because we can't break teams down even when they're kind of coming onto us. So sitting back, all we were doing is side to side, side to side, side to side, and then a clip over the top that went nowhere. So if you guys do score and then sit back, I can't see us breaking you down unless somebody does something a bit special. And that's the problem. We don't have kind of your Wilf Zahars. We don't have like those sorts of players that will unlock a door, do something a little bit special. We've got barely any quick players either. Barely any quick players. Barely any skillful players. Nobody that's going to pick the ball up and run at someone, because that's not how we've recruited. That's not how we've got ourselves to the Premier League in the first place. But how we've got ourselves to the Premier League is not working for us.
Yeah. How do you expect Sheffield United to approach this game in terms of tactics? Do you think they're going to come out and pressure Palace when we have the ball, or?
I think that's what worked so well last season. And if the problem is we do that some games and it works really well, and then other games we just don't pressure and we just get the ball passed around us. We should be doing that. We should be doing that every week. We should be trying to pressurize every player. We are doing as much running as we were last season, but for some reason, we're not getting the same results. So we will try and pressurize you, but the confidence is so low that we can't see where the next goal's coming from, never mind the next point. So I don't know what to tell you, mate. I really don't know what to tell you. I don't think Chris Wilder knows what to tell you either. It's just not working. And I don't know whether it's the kind of cohesion between the midfield and the attack why we're not creating as many chances. But it feels like at the moment it's just going side to side and then someone lumps a ball into the box and it gets headed away.
Yeah. So finally, what's your lineup and your score predictions?
Jeez. I think I don't know, to be honest. That I would have known, like, from the Everton game, I thought we played quite well, and I expect him to go with a similar lineup. But the midfield got completely bypassed last night. The central midfielder in Osborne and Ampadu. So I would have them both out of the team. But I'll go through the team quickly. I'll say Aaron Ramsdale had a great game last night, even though he's been quite poor in quite a lot of games this season. So he'll start in the goal. Baldock, Basham, Egan, and probably Jack Robinson again. Oh, and Ender Stevens. That'll be the back five or three, and then wing backs. It's probably going to be, I don't know. I'd probably go Fleck. Throw Fleck back in there, even though he's been rubbish this season. But they're all playing rubbish in the midfield. It's really difficult. But we will play David McGoldrick in the kind of number 10 role, and then probably Brewster and Ollie Burke up front.
That's interesting. Before you go and say your score prediction, so does Wilder like changing about then?
He hates changing the team around, but he's had to change it this season because of injuries, because of suspensions. We've had last season we didn't have that. We didn't have many injuries at all. It might have been one player filling in when somebody got injured for a week. I don't even think we had many long-term injuries at all last season for anyone. But he's had to change it around this season. Every time he brings someone new in, they play terrible. So he has to bring someone else. It's just that's possibly another reason why we've not been great this season, because he's kept having to chop and change it, and he's had to. He just has.
Yeah. So let's get your score predictions now. I doubt it's going to be something high scoring, but you can be positive. Try to be positive. It might work out.
You want me to be positive?
Yeah.
Is it possible to score minus goals? I think it's possible that we could do that.
How would that work? Minus score own goals, and then it counts for yours.
Possibly, yeah. No, I think the only way, I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I am a positive person.
Yeah,
I am. You probably won't think it talking to me right now, but I am. And all season I've been saying, "Oh, we could win this game. We could win this game," and then it went to hopefully we're going to get a point. And again, it's hopefully we're going to get a point. It'd be nice to get a clean sheet. I wouldn't even care about a 0-0 draw because we've not even kept a clean sheet this season. That's how bad it is. So a clean sheet would be nice. It'd be nice to get a couple of goals, a clean sheet, a point. I'll take any of them.
Okay.
I'll be positive and I'll say it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. 1-1 draw for Nick. For me, I'm going to go for, I don't know. I want to say 2-1 Palace because we've only kept one clean sheet all season. And at the end of the day, when we're looking at this game, we should be keeping a clean sheet as well. Because you're looking at a team who's only scored 8 goals in 16 games. But I'm saying 2-1 Palace. But Nick, I'll be honest with you. Don't be surprised if you beat us 1-0. I'm just saying it now. You probably are like, what is going on? But we are that type of team. Like, we face Liverpool, we face Villa, we face Leicester. But all the time, all this way, after every single game, people are looking at Sheffield United. Whenever you guys lose, they're looking at wait until January the 2nd. You will get your points. And I hope it doesn't happen, but I just fear that the most. But I'm going to try to stay positive and say 2-1. But don't be surprised if it's 1-0 to Sheffield United as well. But look, thank you for joining me, Nick. That was a great chat. And I'll leave down the description of the Sheffield United Way in the below the link for their channel, so you can go and check them out and let the best team win. But until next time, up the Palace.